Thank you everyone for being here and welcome to my presentation. My name is Lucy Martinez and as Diana said, I'm a grad student at Rutgers University. I also like to thank the organizers for inviting me to be here today, as I would like to share a little bit about my story and uh, how I got where I am and how different identities or and background have made me the person who I am today. Okay, let's get started. So I was born in Stony Brook, Long Island, New York, which is just the island of the city. And I grew up there from when I was born to age 3. So at age 3, my family and I moved to Guatemala, which is a little bit over 3,000 miles from New Jersey, from where I am now. And um, in when I was 3 years old, my mom decided she should take me and my siblings to Guatemala, where she's originally from, because of 9/11. And so right after 9/11, we moved to Guatemala, and my dad stayed in New York, and he later, a few months later, moved to Guatemala because my siblings and I missed him, so he decided to join us there. So from age 3 to age 14, I was in Guatemala, and so that means that most of my primary education was there. So this is a picture of me for my kindergarten graduation when I was around 5 years old here. And I'm not smiling in this picture because my mom tells me that I was feeling sick this day. And so I was kind of crying in this picture, but I'm not sure if you can see it, but that's what she tells me every time. So I grew up in Guatemala for 11 years, and the education over there is different than in the US, but we took one class and one English class from around fourth grade. And every year I take this class, a different teacher, but the the class was basically the same every year. So I would learn the same uh, stuff every year. And when I got here to the US, I had to take an ESL test, which is the English second language test, which every student whose first language is not English and starts uh, their education before going to college, they must take this test. And so here is a picture of me and my ESL teacher supervising while I was taking the test. She's also in the audience today too, so I invited her to be here today. And so I was 14 years old in this picture, and I remember I was excited while taking this test because I knew some of the words, even though I didn't speak English. But I definitely didn't know enough, of course. I only knew some vocabulary words, and but I was also nervous. And when I got to the US, I should mention it was around May, which meant wasn't, I was not going to enroll in school during this time. So my parents actually waited until September to enroll me and my siblings to school. So I started school in high school. My first year, I was enrolled in ninth grade. Okay, so let's see. Turns out that 2 years later, after I have moved from Guatemala to New Jersey, my parents decided that they should move again to a different town, also New Jersey, because of my dad's job. He would be commuting on this first 2 years for about 40 minutes every day, and he would start work around 7 a.m., which meant he would have to leave at around 6, which meant that he had to get up at around 5. And so it was really difficult during those first 2 years for him to be commuting back and forth with my mom at some points because she changed jobs between uh, the first year and the second year. And so my dad decided to take all of us to near his job so that he wouldn't have to commute. And so the commute would be now around 15 minutes. And what this meant for me and my siblings was that we would have to start kind of all over again because, we moved high schools. And so I started in a new high school as a junior. And for most people, they had friends during this time because maybe they've been in the same school since they were kids, or maybe uh, at least they started high school together. But it was not the case for me and my siblings. So I mostly hang out with my sister during the last 2 years of high school. And what I would like to highlight here is that I have this picture on the right hand side, and this is a picture of me and my siblings and my mom helping my dad on a random weekend because he would do a side job, which was landscaping. And in this picture, we were doing mulch work, which I'm sure you've seen in some houses in their garden beds. They have this black mulch, and so we were doing that kind of job in this house. And so during high school, my siblings and I would help my dad uh, do this side job during the weekend, sometimes after school, but not so much. It was mostly during the weekends. And so my dad, he would work from 7 to 3, and then after that, he would do side jobs with my mom, um, also during the weekends. In the meantime, my mom would also clean offices. That was her day job. Uh, okay, so this is just a little bit of background of, I guess, my first 4 years in the U.S., which consisted of different challenges, not only culture shock, but also the language. I was not I did not know any English. I only knew some words. Uh, but what helped me was knowing those basic words like the alphabet and some words like school and so on. And so going back to 2013 when I started school in actually I started school in South Jersey, and a year and a half later, I placed out of my ESL class and was placed in an English regular class, just like any other English class that any other student takes. And so I was really excited that I was moved from my ESL class to a regular class because this meant I was going to be challenged, and I really like challenges. And especially if people tell me I'm not going to be able to do something. So one of the other challenges I did face during my first 2 years was uh, different people told me I would not be able to learn English. And so I took that to the heart and I said I should learn and I will prove them wrong. So my lesson here is to you is that if anyone tells you you're not going to finish or that you're not able to do something, uh, you know, not don't listen to them, but take that and at a different angle and use it that as a motivation, because that's what I did. So in the summer of 2000, okay, in 2016 is when I was applying to colleges, and I decided to only apply to Stockton University. I didn't know that you had to apply to different colleges in case one of them didn't accept you. So the fact that I was accepted to Stockton University, the only school that I applied to, was a relief. I found out about it like months later, and I applied to Stockton University. I got accepted. I was excited, but between that time, I also found out about this program called EOF, which stands for Educational Opportunity Fund, which is a New Jersey state funded program that any students, usually from low income families, are accepted. And what they do is they bring this group of students to the university during the summer prior to the first semester of college to take two classes. Might vary between university to university. So in Stockton University, I did take a writing class and a math class. And what they do is they usually test you at the beginning to see where you should be placed. And so uh, prior to this summer program, I didn't like math at all because I didn't have a good experience, especially the last year of high school, from 2016 to 17. I took pre-calculus, honors pre-calculus in my high school, and most of the students were either, a lot of the students were juniors, about half were sophomores, and there was one freshman taking this honors pre-calc, and I was the only senior taking this class, and so I was a little bit discouraged just because I felt like, oh, like I'm out of place. I'm the only senior here. Why am I doing this to myself? But I was like, okay, let's just do it. And so I definitely didn't enjoy that class as much. But during this summer, I took pre-calculus with the professor, and it wasn't until this summer that I first felt confident about high school math. I didn't, this is a little embarrassing for me back then because I felt like uh, I didn't know most of the basic or the foundation that I should have known. But I grew a lot of confidence here in this class. And so I was really thankful I participated in this program and that I found out by myself just by uh, Googling and doing a lot of research on Stockton University. Because I enjoyed this program so much in 2018, the summer after my freshman year, I wanted to be a teaching assistant for the program. And because I had good relationship with the one of the professors for the program, I asked him if I could be a tutor before this summer so that I could have some experience to apply for this program, and so I did. So I was a tutor the spring semester just before the summer of my first summer after I started college, and I applied to this program to be a teaching assistant, and I was my application was successful, and so I returned to work for this program, and I really liked it. This was the first time that I would be at the front of the board with 30 or so or less, maybe like 15 students, and it was it was really fun. I really liked it, and I really liked working with these people. All of them here were either teaching assistants or the coordinators. Um, I should say I started Stockton University thinking that I wanted to complete a degree on criminal justice. But then during the youth program as a student in 2017, I changed majors from criminal justice to computer science because my goal back then was to apply for jobs as an FBI agent. Uh, and so I talked to one of the counselors in that program, and I said, like, I really want to work for FBI. What should I do? I really like forensic science, and he advised me to major in chemistry. And I knew that my chemistry background was not good enough, and so I was like, okay, what should be the another major? And so I went to Google, and I remember googling what kind of majors people go into the workforce for the FBI, and I found out that computer science was one of them. And so I didn't know what computer science was, and so I signed up for it. So the first semester I took a programming class, and I also was placing Calc 1, and I was enjoying Calculus 1 more than Programming 1, but still I wanted to make it work, so I kept going with the computer science major. My second semester, so this is spring of 2018, my second semester I took Programming 2, and I took Discrete Mathematics, and I took Calculus. And I remember that I was having so much fun in discrete math and also Calc 2, even though it was a lot of work. But in Programming 2, because the professor was a little bit challenging, the class felt like it was going really fast, and I felt I'm not prepared for it. Most of the students had taken the same professor for their Programming 1 class, and so they already knew how the professor was and how the class would be versus I didn't. And so I got so discouraged in this class because I felt like I was nowhere near prepared for that class. And so I talked to the professor, and I said, should I drop this class? What's my current grade? And he told me, I think you can definitely pass this class. You should not drop this class because you're not really gonna make a lot of money if you go into the math uh, route. And computer science is where the money is. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm not interested in the money. I really want to do something that I enjoy. And so I didn't
Know what I thought.
drop the class. I did not drop the major either. And so what I decided to do was to pause taking computer science classes the following semester. So the following semester, I took a linear algebra class and calculus 3. Did not take any computer science classes. I took two electives. And because I took this linear algebra class and I was enjoying my math class, my professor recommended I apply to RUs, which are the research experiences for undergraduates. And she told me you should apply. And so I was like, okay. I looked into it the fall semester of my sophomore year, and I found out about MSRI, which is an RU in the SL Math uh, Institute, which it was known before as MSRI. By the way, for any of the institutes or anything that I've mentioned here, since it is in the presentation slides, you can always go back to them. The slides are also posted on my website, which I will provide at the end. So although I'm not providing any links directly from here, you can definitely find them after. But so I applied to this program, and I didn't know that this program would change my my whole trajectory. And when I came into this program telling myself, okay, if I can uh, succeed in this program, then I can definitely consider changing my major to mathematics, because at that time I didn't really know what that meant, changing my major to mathematics. What does that mean? What can I do with a degree besides uh, teaching uh, pre-K to high school math? So it was in this program that I learned all about grad school and what you can do with a PhD in mathematics. And so I was inspired to continue my education through this program. And this was a really rewarding experience for me. I cannot imagine what would have happened if I had not had that experience, because it was here where I met a lot of my current mentors who I keep in touch, and so I still keep in touch with some people here too. This was in 2019. So then, uh, after that, in 2021, I graduated from Stockton University with a degree in mathematics, but also a minor in computer science. I did end up minor in computer science just because I felt like I started something, maybe I should finish. Let me not do the double major. Instead, I'm just gonna minor because it just felt like I wasn't done there. I did like some of the other classes that I took, although uh, it was a quite hard decision for me to drop that major because it just felt like I was giving up. So then I applied to grad schools, and in 2021, the summer just before graduate school, I applied to a program called the EDGE program, which stands for the Enhancing Diversity in Graduate Education. And this program is for women who are going to go into their first year of grad school or second year of grad school. And again, there's going to be a link. Uh, okay, so because of time, I like to just forward to the last line. This just means I don't know when I'm gonna graduate grad school, so I have a question mark. Uh, just some couple of advice as you go in your undergraduate career. I just wanted to emphasize that reaching out to a community or the community that you find is a good tip that I can give, and also self-care and thinking about why you want to do what you want to do. That's going to help you to uh, motivate yourself, and that has helped me so far. Uh, Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope that you keep enjoying your uh, conference.